East Blue Saga, Arlong Park Arc. Sometime after Yosaku left to inform Luffy of Nami's destination, Usopp, Zoro, and Johnny arrived at the island. As they approached the island, they tied up Zoro to keep him from harming himself by foolishly attacking fishmen who were fabled to be 10 times stronger than humans. However, they spotted 3 fishmen as they pulled close to shore. Usopp and Johnny quickly abandoned the ship, leaving Zoro defenseless. Zoro was then brought to Arlong Park, where he found out Nami's allegiance to Arlong. After some banter, Arlong proudly stated that Nami was the type of person who would betray even her own family for the sake of riches, which visibly disturbed her. To test Arlong's statement, Zoro threw himself into the water. Nami saved Zoro, but beat him to reassure that she was still part of Arlong's crew. While Arlong was away at Nami's village, Zoro broke free from the dungeon he was being held at, with some help from Nami, who cut his ropes, and struck down the fishmen stationed at the park to kill some time. He then met the octopus fishman, Hachi, who was outside the park fishing, clearly oblivious of what had just went down on the other side of the wall. Thinking Zoro was a guest, Hachan towed him to the Kokoyashi village. When he arrived, however, he discovered that Arlong had already returned to Arlong Park. Luffy, Yosaku, and the newly recruited Sanji were hurled towards the island by their temporary chariot led by Momu. They fell from the sky only to meet up with Zoro. Johnny found them as well and told them that he saw Nami stabbing Usopp. Not long after, they came upon a defiant Nami, who tried to convince the Straw Hats that she was only in it for the treasure. She then told them to take their ship back and get off the island. Luffy refused, causing Nami to angrily walk away. Johnny and Yosaku also split off, not wanting to be killed by the fishmen. Zoro said that he never expected Nami to murder someone and that she was only a small-time criminal. Sanji became enraged at the comment and the two started to fight, only to have Usopp's face taking the impact of both. Usopp woke up and told them of what really happened. Nami's adoptive sister, Nojiko, found them and agreed to tell them the reason behind Nami's motives. Luffy then left to take a walk and Zoro fell asleep, while Sanji and Usopp, as well as an eavesdropping Johnny and Yosaku, listened to the story of how Arlong took over the island and killed Nami and Nojiko's adoptive mother, Belle-Mère, and how Nami was working for Arlong as a cartographer and stealing from other pirates to buy back their village. Once Nami broke down after Arlong had his accomplice, the corrupted marine captain Nezumi, take all the money she had been saving for her village, she tearfully asked Luffy for help. Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp joined him on the march to Arlong Park, where Johnny and Yosaku were stopping Kokoyashi's villagers from entering as they waited for the Straw Hats. After entering, the Straw Hats managed to beat almost all the fishmen, with the exception of the generals. Luffy stuck his feet into the ground to beat the Arlong sea cow Momu, and was later thrown into the water by Arlong. Zoro warned Sanji that they could not immediately jump in to save Luffy. He reminded them that the fishmen would be faster and more powerful underwater, so they must move to defeat them on land quickly. Zoro squared off against Hachan and found it to be challenging due to his previous injuries against Mihawk. When Sanji attempted to defend Zoro, Sanji was knocked away by Kurobi and was too distracted with his battle to help Zoro. Despite his wound and fever, Zoro borrowed Johnny and Yosaku's swords and managed to win against Hachan's 6-sword style, breaking his swords and defeating him. Sanji defeated Kurobi, and Usopp defeated Chu outside of Arlong Park. After Sanji assured Zoro that Luffy was alive, he and Sanji then fought against Arlong, but were both defeated and agreed that only Luffy could win. While Zoro kept Arlong distracted and with minor interference from Hachan, Sanji drove back into the water and freed Luffy's body. On land, Arlong ripped the bandages off of Zoro's chest, injuring him even more and shocking everybody. Luffy then rose from the water with help from Genzo, Nojiko, and Sanji, and traded places with Zoro by tossing him high into the air. He fell into the sea and fell asleep after pulling himself out of it. When Luffy destroyed Arlong Park and defeated Arlong, Zoro woke up just in time to beat Nezumi, who came to take the credit for defeating Arlong. Nami made Nezumi return all the money and help fix up the island. Humiliated, Nezumi left and reported the incident to the Marine's main base, ensuring that Luffy would receive a high bounty. Back in Kokoyashi village, Dr. Nako tended to the wounds of Zoro, Luffy, Yosaku, and Johnny. To celebrate their freedom, the entire island threw a big party. When the party was finally over, Nami rejoined the crew and the Straw Hats sailed towards their next adventure.